welcome to the, what month is this?
May.
May 2022, the zoning board of appeals meeting for the town of Carmel. Board members' names are in front of you on the dais. Town officials are Greg Fulchetti, town council, and code enforcement officer Mike Carnazza are with us this evening. The way we operate is I will ask you to come up, I'll swear you in, whoever's going to be speaking, unless you're a lawyer. You'll present your case, we'll poll the board for any questions or comments, then we'll open it up to the public. When we close your case, there is no further input from the public after that procedure. Here's Sylvia. Okay. So we'll stay with the agenda as is now that Mr. Balzano is with us. Will you all please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, apologies.
Don't let it happen again.
Just like to remind everybody what this weekend represents. We give thanks to all our service people and thank them for their dedication. So let's be cognizant of that. All right, our first case is a holdover from last month. This is application for John Regan. It's for a variance of section 156-15, seeking a use variance for permission to legalize existing third apartment. The property is located at 1751 Route 6, Carmel, New York, and is tax map 55.6-1-24. The code requires and allows no mixed use. Variance granted to allow two families with office below back in 6/19/98. What's provided is two apartments approved, request permission to expand non-conforming use to a third apartment. And the variance required is the applicant seeks to expand the existing two-family with office approved by ZBA in 1998 by adding a third studio apartment from an existing empty space which has been residentially occupied for over 10 years. The applicant will in turn waive the previous ZBA approval to add a garage. So last month, we had asked for some more financial backup, which you did provide. We received earlier this week. I personally did not have a lot of time to review it, but hopefully it'll make sense, and we'll see what you think. So I don't need to swear you in. Joel, if you're going to be speaking, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And just state your name and address for the record, please.
Joel Greenberg, 2 Muscle Road North.
2 Muscat Road North, Mahopac, New York.
All right, yeah, I'll just remind everyone, speak clearly and concisely into the microphone because we are recording this for meeting minutes, and it's got to be as clear as possible for Dawn to decipher. All right, have at it.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Frank J. Smith III, Law Office of Schilling and Smith, on behalf of the applicant, Mr. John Regan. First, I would like to apologize. There was, I guess, what I sent last week was lost in the shuffle. It was sent to Dawn last Thursday. It didn't end up on her desk until Tuesday morning, and I know that's when you guys received it. So I do apologize for whatever happened there, but I'm glad you were able to get it.
No worries, thank you.
As you stated, last month we were here, and the board had requested additional information on behalf of the applicant's financial hardship. Before we get into any further questions about it and other analysis of the use variance standards, Mr. Greenberg would like to go over the plans that are presented before you this evening.
Sure.
Just to review exactly what we're looking for as far as the variances are concerned. This, of course, the lower floor is where is a insurance office which is being vacated. This is the middle floor, which has the studio apartment. These are the other apartments, and I think, as the chairman mentioned in his opening statement, originally back in the early 2000s, this board approved 2 apartments and a freestanding garage. The garage was never built, and we have no intentions of building it. What's interesting, too, is that this little portion, which is about 200 square feet, is in the existing building. In other words, there was no addition, there's nothing added on to get this particular apartment. The other 2 are the 2 two-bedroom apartments and the 1 studio. So basically what we're asking for is for the approval of the studio apartment, which I said is about 200 square feet, and again is in the existing building. There is no additions ever added. The building is just as it was when this board approved the 2 apartments and the garage, almost over probably 20 years ago. But anyway, if there's any questions regarding the apartment, I'll be happy to answer them.
Did you say something was being vacated?
Yes, the office.
The lower level office, currently occupied by an insurance company. They are going to be vacating starting in the month of June.
But it's still going to be an office in the future?
Oh, yes,
Correct.
it's going to, yes, absolutely.
Just want to make sure that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do they have a new tenant yet?
No.
Not as of yet.
Okay, so you want to run us through the financials that
Thank you very
we
much.
had requested, if that's what, if you're done, Joel?
Of course. So the financials that I provided were in the form of 3 spreadsheets. The first spreadsheet represents rental income from 2021. It is broken down by the office, the 3-bedroom unit, the studio, and the 2-bedroom unit. The second spreadsheet represents rental income in 2022. As we've already mentioned, in June, the office will be vacant. That represents a further loss of rental income. And then the third spreadsheet provided represents monthly expenses along with one-time expenses, capital improvements, other items. Some of these monthly expenses do vary. So there's landscaping, there's snow removal. You could see that some months they're more expensive than others, but when taken in the aggregate, it does show a financial loss.
Okay. Rose, you have that in front of you.
Yes. I have a few questions.
Okay.
The Central Hudson gas heat bill, is that for all 4 units, or is that just for the hallway? Does each individual apartment pay their own Central Hudson bill?
Yeah, swear.
Yeah, if you're going to speak, I need to swear you in and state your name and address for the record. I need to speak last time. State your name and address.
John Regan?
And raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
No,
Just speak into the microphone.
Oh, there's one bill for the
One
whole
bill?
building? Yes.
So in other words, the rent covers the heating?
So I pay all the heating.
Okay.
And then the rent is included, yes, so their heat is included in their rent.
Okay.
All right, but their electric is
Their
separated by,
electric is on their own,
okay, so that's how many meters?
I believe, 3 meters.
Okay.
But you pay the entire bill?
Yeah.
So these expenses that you have are for everybody? So I noticed that in January, February, March of last year, they were significantly lower. Is that because the 2-bedroom was vacant at that point?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, you have a list of one-time expenses. When did these expenses occur? Last year, or is that an,
One time, I'm sorry, I'd have to,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do this.
okay.
Happens to the best of us.
I brought them just in case. I'm sorry. Where
That's
are you?
okay. The bottom of the page,
Also,
one-time.
one-time expenses incurred for the apartment, so painting, cleaning, getting it ready for the next tenant, real estate fee, things like that are associated with making the apartment ready, vacating the other tenant, and moving a new tenant in.
So that was something that you may have this year again because
That
you
is
have
correct.
somebody leaving and coming in.
That is correct. And my tenant that is leaving, the insurance tenant that you're referring to, is leaving for hardship. Quite honestly, they determined that there's not enough business for her to maintain another office in the area, so.
All right. Yeah, you have permits, studio expenses. These fees, studio expense, legal fees, engineering, permit, that's all because of this situation
That's
that we're
correct.
talking about, okay?
However, there is some there, like I needed a new porch. I had put a new back deck. These are, just expenses in owning and operating, and keeping the place.
What I was going to say is, in a typical year, what do you normally see as your one-time expenses for that year? Is this unusual?
Not really unusual. It depends. Depends on if somebody moves out or not. It would be very hard for me to say that.
Okay,
Things come up. You need a roof, you put it on,
right. Because, certainly last year you had a lot of expenses. And then I saw, let's see, March and April of last year, your landscaping and pruning, and I guess snow removal. We had more snow last year. That's why I'm thinking that you had a greater expense in '21 than you had in '22.
Yeah, that's correct. Also, there's, different times, we've done different things, hedges, bushes, things like that, landscaping. When I had to put up the porch, we did some other stuff,
Okay.
Rose, not to make the argument for them, but the loss that they're showing is with the additional unit that they're trying to get.
They're still showing a loss even though they have that fourth unit.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah,
Just so
because
you know.
I'm looking at this and I'm seeing your monthly expenses is 5542, plus I averaged out your Central Hudson and your landscaping, and that worked out to be 6168 without your one-time expenses. So you're pretty close to, you're only making $300 here, but again, you have regular maintenance on a house.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you're really cutting it close as it is right now. I have no other questions. Does anybody want to
All
see
right, any
this?
board members have any other questions?
Yeah, just, you may have answered this before, but how many other people are in the other two apartments?
There's a two-bedroom apartment and a three-bedroom apartment.
As far as like vehicle parking, they all park in the driveway?
No, there is parking, there's ample parking for all of the tenants. I believe we have
It's an adjacent parking lot
yeah,
there.
there's
Do they
a
let
fair
you
amount
use
of
that?
parking.
That commercial lot?
Downstairs, yeah.
With the
There's two
addition of the
separate
apartment,
lots.
we're not going to need more spaces.
Familiar
right?
with the area.
Sorry, that was my fault.
Just
They
so you
still
can
comply with that.
see- Oh, I'm sorry. This is Route 6 over here. There are basically two parking lots. This parking lot over here, which has 9 spaces, is for the, what is now and will be vacant, the insurance office. And there's another slew of cars over here with a separate driveway for the apartments. So there's more than enough parking. Again, if you look at the parking regulations for the town of Carmel, we meet or exceed the requirement, even with the extra apartment.
They had a variance on this in the past, I believe, for the parking, no?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, different one. I apologize.
No. But anyway, to make a long story short, to answer your question, there's more than enough parking. And if you pass by, as John said, the place is kept very, very well maintained, manicured, and it's an asset to the community. And again, just to repeat, this little corner here has that apartment. There were no additions or anything added on to get that apartment. It was been there, obviously, way before Mr. Reagan bought the building, and so it was actually the previous owner that actually put the apartment in.
Thank you, Joel. No further questions.
All right, Phil?
No questions, thank you.
No questions, thank you.
No questions.
All right, so for use variance, let's just read through this to make sure we're hitting these targets. Number one, must prove all of the following for use variance to be approved. Number one, incapable of earning a reasonable return if used for any of the allowable uses, amounts must be shown, which now I think you've proven that case to be. Number two is the property is affected by unique or at least highly uncommon circumstances. I think we have an okay argument for that. Number three, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. It's indicative of that whole corridor of Carmel there, and was not self-created is number four. So, any comments on that?
No, I have just one question. Applicant will in turn waive the previous ZBA approval to add a garage. That's part of the variance required. Do we need to condition that as well in our decision?
What was the first
Not
part?
to add a garage.
Just make
Not to
sure
add
it's
the
captured,
garage.
yes.
It's in, we have code provided and variance required. He states that he's not putting the garage in. Do you want that conditioned as well?
If you want that condition.
You have no problem.
You can.
No, absolutely. To answer your question, we have no problem with that. It was
Okay.
part of the variance years and years ago. It was never built, and we have no intention of doing it. If that's a condition, we have no problem.
Okay.
That only further burden the
So you're trying
financials.
to
That's
void
one
the
way.
previous variance is what you're trying to do?
It's, Mike, it says on the variance required, it says applicant will in turn waive the previous ZBA approval to add a garage. They put that on the application.
All right,
But,
That's
So
going to
you
be a
have to-
nightmare to maintain, to keep track of.
right.
Right, so would you
Yes.
rather us condition it so
No,
that it's
leave it.
simple?
Just
No,
leave it.
just leave it.
Leave it?
You don't even, you know.
It's not, there's no harm if they want to add the garage.
Right.
They'd have to go back to the planning board because their site plan approval expired.
Right.
They're going to go back. They already have the variance if it's a setback thing, whatever it was. What's the harm, though? There's no,
So it's been
Okay.
over
I
a
wouldn't
year.
even touch it. Because
Right.
it's,
You wouldn't touch
there's
it?
going to be decisions
Not
sitting in the
required
files
for you to
that are
put
going to
that
be
in there.
confusing because unless you have the last one in your hand, you're not going to know that one's voided.
I don't think it's material to this at all, so
not,
right.
I
It's
wouldn't
not.
touch it.
Yeah.
Okay, all good with board members? Anybody from the public have any input on this application? All right, I'll look for a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close.
Go a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
You as well.
Two.
Application number 2 is for Jose Paz for a variation of section 156-15, seeking an area variance for permission to retain existing sheds. The property is located at 22 Pebblebrook Drive, Carmel, New York, and is known as tax map 77.7-1-18. Code requires 70 or 20 feet for the rear. What's provided is 10, and a variance required of 10 feet. And then for the side, 20 feet, the code requires, and then what's provided is 18 feet, and you're looking for a variance of 2 feet. Good evening. You both going to be speaking? All right. Why don't I just swear you both in, just in case? Just grab the microphones, guys, and state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, my name is Jose Paz, in 22 Pebblebrook Drive, Carmel, New York.
And you are?
Michael Solostino, 52 Anton Drive, Carmel, New York.
Okay, both raise your right hands, please. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, why don't you bring us through your case? So the shed's been there, how long?
The shed be like probably year and a half, one of the sheds. The other one be over there probably over 10 years.
And that's the one up top, right?
Yeah, the one on the top.
Top of the hill?
Yes.
You didn't know you needed a variance? You didn't know you needed a building
That
permit?
time, I don't think it really, I just to put it in, I don't think it's, because I know it's, I don't think it's that much, needed that much distance for the neighbors. So,
Okay. Did you talk to your neighbors about it?
no.
Nobody have an issue, and any of your
No.
neighbors have an issue? What would it cost if you had to relocate it, approximately, both of them?
I don't know.
Couple $1,000?
$1,000 maybe.
To read, okay. There's no other property you can purchase to bring it into conformance, correct? You're surrounded by neighbors, there's no issues. I mean,
Yes.
there's no land available. I was up there the other day. The one on the right back corner is pretty well screened with some natural woods and whatnot. And then the one on top of the hill, there's no one behind you.
No,
So I don't
that's
think you're
very
really affecting
far from the
anybody.
neighbors.
So the one down on the right-hand side of the corner, that's
Right.
the one that's been there for a year and a half?
Yes, that's the one for
Okay.
year and a half.
I gotta tell you, I went to go look at this thing. You had chipmunks all over that place. I've never seen something, I mean, Hill and Dale and whatever their names, they were all over the place. It was
No,
crazy.
it is.
Chippendale.
Squirrels and
Chippendale,
chipmunks.
come on.
The
Nobody
walls, I
objects
think
to
it likes the
Hill and
walls,
Dale.
yeah, stone walls.
Rescue Rangers.
All right, board members, John, any questions, comments?
No questions.
No
Rose?
questions.
No questions, thank you.
No questions?
No questions.
Any input from the public on this application?
How big are the sheds, if you don't mind me asking?
How big it
It's
is?
big, it's Mike.
Over there.
Oh, it's 16 by 10.
If they were 1 foot smaller, they would be able to be 10 feet from the property line, just so everybody understands.
That's why it's,
That's the
Got
1
it.
foot.
Pretty big.
because I was looking at that going, why is it, okay, got it.
It would've
And
been 10.
what's
I
in
knew
there?
It was close, I just didn't know what the numbers were.
What do you have in the shed that's,
Just the landscaping stuff. Like
Yeah, you
the-
got a
the-
pretty
the
big
grass
property.
machine and the blowers or whatever.
and chipmunks?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look for a motion to close the public
So
hearing.
moved.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I failed to mention, you guys can stick around after we, if we close all the cases, we can adjudicate, or you can go home and watch it on Channel 24 on Verizon and 95 on Comcast. Or you can call tomorrow and see what the decision was, but tonight's gonna be a quick night, so.
Oh, why just shut that?
Well, it's because the Rangers are playing. All right, application number 3 is for Peter Ferrone for a variation of section 156-15, seeking an area variance for permission to retain a 10 by 12 shed. Property is located at 44 Miana Drive, Mahopac, New York, tax map 86.7-1-16. Code requires and allows 10 feet. What's provided is 3.8 feet. The variance required of 6.2 feet. Good evening, sir. Good evening. State your name and address for the record, and please speak into the mic.
Hello. Peter Ferrone, 44 Miana Drive, Mahopac.
Raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I will.
Okay, you got a similar situation, and I was up there the other night. You're way in the back, there's no houses near you. The guy on the left has a fence, a solid fence that's 6 feet. Pretty well maintained, in good shape, so you can't move it, right? What would be the cost to move it if you had to?
More than it's worth.
Okay. There's no other property you can purchase to bring into conformance, right? There's no land available around you. You have a septic back there?
No, something's in the front.
Oh, it's in the front, okay. So, all right, to me, I didn't see any issues with it. I don't think any neighbors are complaining about it. Board members, any?
I had a letter from my neighbor saying that.
Oh, you did? You want to submit it to us?
It's always good to have one of those.
Yes, for sure. Those copies? It's a quick one, I'll read it. To whom it may concern, I've been neighbors with Pete and Rosie Ferroni for over 30 years. They keep the property well-maintained and perform upkeeps as needed. I have no issue or concerns with the shed they have on their property. It is in good condition. Thank you, Carmela Ortiz, 40 Miami Drive, Mahopac. Okay, we'll put that in the folder.
Which neighbor is that, just curious? Which neighbor is that?
If you're facing my house, it's the one on the right.
Okay.
Okay, that's good to have. Did I ask the public for any input on this application?
didn't.
All right, look for a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close.
Second.
All by Rose, all in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Public for-
Number 4, Robert Monturo for variation of section 156-15, seeking an area variance for permission to retain a tool shed in the existing location. Property is located at 207 Drewville Road in Carmel and is tax map 65.16-1-43. The code allows and requires 10 feet. What's provided is 7 feet, so a variance required of 3 feet. Good evening.
Good evening.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Robert Montoro, 207 Drewville Road, Carmel.
Raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, bring us through your situation.
Same situation. I wish I knew I could bring a letter, I would have, because everything in that shed helps my neighbor.
Carbon copy here, right?
Yeah. The shed is centrally located in the bottom of my driveway where I could park a car on each side and still, I have 2 kids with cars as well, so getting in and out of the shed, the door is the way we park, so to move it over, I would have to, move the fencing. Aesthetically, it would not look correct, and then getting in and out of it would be, I'd have to move vehicles around to get the snow blower, lawnmower.
Yeah, I looked inside, it looks like you're jam-packed with lawn equipment there. I mean, it's well kept, and even from the pictures, you can see it's in good shape. That front line is almost in line with the fences.
Yeah.
Your neighbor on the right, you said, they have no issue? And they would
Like I
be
said,
affected by it
everything in there,
most.
she loves here. I do all the work for her.
What would be the cost if you had to relocate this to conform?
I have no idea, but
You'd have to do footings,
wire.
pad,
I'd have to push it, and slide over footings, extend, redo the fencing,
$800,000, something like that?
probably, if
Okay.
not more.
And is that your septic in that backyard
Yeah,
area?
the whole back is septic.
Yeah, so you can't really go anywhere too close there. All right, board members, we'll start down here. Julie, any questions?
No questions.
Sil?
No questions,
Bill,
thank you. Good
Rose.
seeing you.
Questions?
Yeah.
No questions.
All right, any input from the
Chairman.
public on this application? I'll look for a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close.
Do I have a
Second.
second, please? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Number 5, application Armand Papasadero for variation of section 156-47A1, seeking permission to extend existing home or the den on a lot with 2 dwellings. Property is located at 71 Drewville Road, Carmel, New York, tax map 65.8-1-3. I think this is a record. There's many Carmel ones here tonight, so congratulate you guys. Code requires and allows one family, what's provided is a two-family, and the variance required is to expand the lot with two one-family dwellings. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm
Just-
sorry, I didn't,
Expand the lot with two one-family dwellings.
oh, they're both there, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Just state your name and address for the record. Speak into the microphone, though, please.
Armin Papasadero, 71 Drewville Road, Carmel, New York, 10512.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help
I
you God.
do.
You can either twist that down towards you,
Sure.
or you can grab the mic on the podium
The hand
and
mic.
do the
Oh,
handheld.
boy.
You're on stage, buddy.
Sinatra.
Am I on Channel 95 now?
The summer wind, the summer wind came blowing in. So bring us through your situation. So I was up there the other night. You've made some incredible improvements on the property that was there from what used to be there. So, you know, your heart's in the right place here. Unfortunately, you have an existing condition where there's two one-family dwellings. So to expand, you have to come in front of us. So you're just doing a quick addition on the right side?
Of the house that we live in.
Right.
We bought this property 3 years ago.
Speak to the mic.
I'm sorry, we bought this property 3 years ago. We lived in Garrison for 20 years. We couldn't retire there between taxes and upkeep of the house. We bought this property because of the cottage, the second dwelling. That helps pay our expense.
Income.
Our house that we came from was about 3,000 square feet. The house we live in now is a little under 1,000 square feet. We tried, we just can't. We need room, we have a big family, we have 8 grandchildren.
Wow.
Dinners, over the holidays and all. We have no place to put them, we haven't had a holiday dinner in 3 years.
So you have to build a boxing ring, break out the boxing gloves, basically, right? All right, yeah, it makes sense. It's kind of a small house, very cute, though, like I said, well-maintained.
I have a letter from one of my neighbors.
Oh, you do? You want to submit that?
Sure would. I did not get a chance to make copies, we just got it.
That's okay.
That's okay, we only need one.
We'll read it.
You read it.
Oh, that's not that bad, you can read that one.
All right, to whom it may concern, a response to the application for variance by Mr. Armand Papasadero. Am I saying that right?
Yes,
Our neighbor. We have no objections to this request to extend the main existing home located at 71 Drewville Road with a den, as long as the extension maintains the current level of privacy for both our respective properties. No extension or addition to the secondary home on the property is planned or contemplated. Since the Papasadero family acquired this property, they have greatly improved and enhanced this homestead, which had been neglected over the years. It is a pleasure to welcome them into our community, and that's from Rita and Axel Kusinkis.
Kaczynski's.
Yeah, what he said.
The house to the left, that big beautiful colonial they have there.
So
So that's
good.
close to the guest house or the other house, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
All right, so I'll open it up to the board for any questions. John?
Looks like a nice layout.
Thank you. I worked hard on it.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, he did all the work himself, by the way, most of it.
Putting a fireplace in that new addition?
I'm going to put a sealed gas
Just the
fireplace.
mic again. Microphone, please.
Good, no further questions.
I'm sorry, a gas fireplace, sealed.
I'm here for you.
All right, Rose? Phil,
No
you
questions,
good?
thank you.
Nothing for me.
All right, any input from the public on this application? I don't think so. All right, look for a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close.
Do I have a second? By Julie. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, at this point, we're going to adjudicate on the cases, so there's no further input on any application. All right, holdover application for John Regan. I'll look for a motion.
Motion to grant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussions?
I believe they passed all the criteria for a use variance between the financials and not being self-created. Didn't alter the character of the neighborhood, and it's unique.
I agree with you. All right.
I would agree with that as well.
Agreed.
Okay. All in favor, right?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I took over.
It's approved.
I didn't forget to do the roll call or use for
No. Number 2 for Jose Paz, I'll look for a motion.
Motion to grant?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Granted. Number 3, Ferone.
Motion to grant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
By Silvio, all in favor?
Aye.
Will you give her one, please?
She's got it used to.
Number 4, Montoro, look for a motion.
Motion to grant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, granted. And finally, Papa Zadaro, number 5, do I have a motion?
Motion to grant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, folks.
Oh,
For the
minutes,
minutes,
and then
from
close.
minutes from April 28th, 2022, I think, Rose, you sent back some comments?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I talked to Greg about it, and
That's fine.
he thinks that,
Okay. So,
Motion to
do I have a
accept.
motion to accept the meeting minutes from April 28th, 2022.
Second?
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept, do I have a second?
Second.
By Silvio, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Motion adjourned.
Do I have a all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's go Rangers.
Have a great Memorial Day, everybody.
Happy Memorial Day, everyone. Thank you all. Be safe.